Did you know you can own a business even if you do not have millions of dollars in the bank? In fact, even if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, I'm going to show you exactly how. I'm going to run you through step by step. So at the end of this video, you have the confidence and knowledge to do it yourself. The SBA, or Small Business Administration, has been helping people buy businesses since the 1950s. Most people do not know how valuable this scheme is. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what the SBA is, why it's so valuable, how to qualify, and some insider tips to put your application at the top of the pile for SBA lenders. And stick around, because at the end, I'll be sharing with you a little known SBA hack that could save you thousands of dollars. So what exactly is the SBA program and why is it such a big deal? Just imagine that you love cleaning and you want to buy a cleaning business. There is a cleaning business for sale and it is $300,000, but you don't have $300,000 lying around. Well, this is where the SBA scheme kicks in, and I'm going to show you how. The SBA doesn't lend you the money directly, but it's a government scheme that guarantees the funding for another lender to lend you under an SBA loan. This guarantee from the SBA lowers the risk for the lender that can lend as long as it lends according to the SBA guidelines set by the US government. And the most common purchasing scenario with an SBA loan that I see as a small business investor myself is 10% down, 10% seller note, and 80% financing. And using the cleaning company as an example, it would be $30,000 down, $30,000 seller financing note, and $240,000 would come as an SBA loan. So now that you know what the SBA loan is, now let me run you through how to qualify for these loans and who they are for. Firstly, your credit score will typically need to be above 680-ish in that area in order for a loan to be approved. Secondly, the lender will need to get comfortable in you, the future business operator. What is your background? What is your skills? And if you're worrying at this point, don't worry, we'll talk about some tips to help you get the right experience and to get approved, but they will be looking at that. In addition to that, they will need to see that you have some skin in the game. So that does typically mean a down payment. However, it is possible to raise money from investors in order to satisfy the down payment requirement for an SBA loan. Think of it a bit like a house. When you buy a house, you put down a down payment, a deposit, and then the loan is on the balance and that gets paid back over time. That is similar in many ways to how a business acquisition works. So you put the down payment down, but then the business itself, the business that you bought, actually generates the cash to pay down that SBA loan. SBA loans are typically over 10 years and they have no balloon, which means the amount suddenly comes due in the middle of that 10 years. And in addition to that, there's no prepayment penalty, which means there's no penalty for paying back that loan early. Surprisingly or not, some lenders actually penalize you for paying back a loan early because they make money from having the loan in effect and out there in the world and being paid upon. One interesting nuance is that if you buy a business that also has a piece of real estate and the real estate is 51% or more of the total value of the acquisition that's taking place, then you can stretch that term from 10 years to up to 25 years. That actually makes a huge difference as it relates to your cash flow management as a new business owner, which can really help set you up for success, because essentially your mortgage, as the way we played that out, is less. The payment is lower, which means you can start to put money aside, shore up the cash reserves of the business, and make sure the business will be around for the long run. Most SBA loans are at a variable interest rate. However, some lenders will lend at a fixed rate. Typically, the lenders that lend on a fixed rate, they're a little bit lower in terms of the interest rate, but they're more conservative on what they will lend on. The variable lenders are typically more aggressive, but you will have to pay a higher interest rate and it will be variable, which over the last few years has meant we've seen interest rates go up. It is possible that under a variable scenario, we'll see those come down, but the point is it's not fixed, so there is an extra element of risk in a variable rate versus a fixed rate. Insider tips for approval. How can you set your application up for success? First of all, you need to sell your existing experience. Now, if you are considering this now or considering this at some point in the future, I want you to think about what you do now for a living. Whatever it is, if you can get management experience and if you can get experience managing budgets, so basically managing people, managing numbers, that will set you up really well for this, because lenders love it when you have actual experience managing people, because guess what? You're going to do that as a business owner, and managing budgets, because guess what? You're going to be managing your finances when you're a small business owner. So if you can show that, bring that out in the resume and really make that experience sing, because that's really important. Another thing you can do to set yourself up for success is find the lenders that specialize in your industries, you may have to reach out to a number of SBA lenders, and there's a government site which gives you contact details of all the SBA lenders, but you want to find the ones that love your industry vertical. That's what it's called. So you may find someone that loves lending on laundromats. There are several lenders that I know that both do and don't like to do laundromats. Same would be true for HVAC, plumbing, pressure washing, whatever it is, whatever the industry is you're looking at, find your lender, because you want to find the ones that are specialized in the industry, because don't forget, they also need to be comfortable on the money that they're lending. So the checks that the bank does itself is actually a useful extra check on top of the financial analysis that you do before deciding you want to buy the business. The other thing you can do to really help your chances is bring the lender, the SBA lender, in early. So what would be really embarrassing is to send out an LOI, the letter of intent, which says, I want to buy your business, Mr. Seller, but not actually run it past the bank, and then have to go back and say, oh, sorry, the bank won't lend me the money that I thought. You want to bring the lender in on the front end. You want to be running some of your initial numbers, but in addition, the bank will want to, and so you'll figure out what you can actually offer before presenting that to the seller. Just remember, it's not like a home loan. They actually don't just look at the borrower, they most of all look at the business, because it's the business that will be paying back the loan. So the strength of the business you're looking at is more important than the borrower themselves. Following these steps doesn't just improve your odds, it positions you as a serious business buyer ready to do business, that's serious about changing their life and buying a business. So there you have it. That is the SBA program and why it is so powerful in the United States. And for that tip that I talked about at the beginning of the video, well, the prepayment penalty that I talked about, the fact that there is no prepayment penalty for the SBA program, that is a really powerful tool and something you should seriously consider. For me, as a full-time investor, I do not view debt on a business as the same as debt on a piece of real estate. With debt on a business, I want to pay that down as quickly as possible. So when I buy a small business, I think, how can I double it? Yes, that may take 3, 5, maybe even 7 years to double it. But as you grow your business, that extra cash flow, I encourage you to live frugally and use the extra money to pay down on that debt quickly. Take advantage of the no prepayment penalty. Think of all the interest you'll save and the fact that you are creating a strong foundation for your family and your family's wealth for the future. If you would like another tip on how to buy a small business, YouTube recommends this video for you. This is James, the Business Buying Brit, signing off.